has a shot, but it goes the other way.
Libas.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
A little bit older than you.
And I'm not touching this topic. I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
Mediocre, mid-table, rabble.
So I just want to be able to talk as much
If you
crap.
play a night game, he has to turn the bloodlines on.
No one would have believed that he would keep his job for as long as he had.
The Wednesday Week! Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. A very special episode of the Wednesday Week because we've got a guy who's looks like a mosaic right now. So my apologies if the internet kicks in and kicks out. It's always going to happen as soon as you press the record button. But with 835 appearances for Sheffield Wednesday, score of one of the most iconic goals in the history of the club. Eighth most appearances for the club. Have I got that right? I hope I have. And he's one of our own. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Liam Palmer joining us this evening. How's it going, LP2? You all right?
All good, thank you. Yeah, all good. Just over here in Germany. Our final training session today, so just ready for the game tomorrow. Then head home, back to the family. How do you fancy your chances tomorrow? I mean, Salzburg looked like a bigger test than what we anticipated, didn't they? Yeah, they're really good setup. I think they've got a really good model in terms of the kind of average age of the squad as well. So. Yeah, I think it's the test the manager wanted. Similar to the Brighton one, he wanted the best pressing team and the best teams in possession, so we can, we see where we are and see what levels we need to get to. So, yeah, in terms of pre-season, it's probably a perfect test. Obviously, aside the result, but he would have seen a lot of good things and things that we need to do better. So, from his point of view, I think he's pretty happy at that. Yeah, the two lads from the start said that there was a lot of value that you lads got out of doing a game like that, which is which I assume you're going to get a lot more value out of something like that than playing, Salford's second team and spanking them 10-0 and that type of thing, right? Yeah, I think that's the idea of it. I think he's brought us to a really nice place. Munich's been here, Leipzig have been here. He's been here with the German team and stuff. So we've just been able to work, rest up in the afternoon, and obviously, he's big on his analysis, which everybody knows. So, using them games and taking clips from all the games really so far in pre-season and seeing, when we've done things right and obviously when we've done things wrong. So, a lot of learning, a lot of classroom time as well, which I think for the new players is ideal, having got them in through the door quite early on. So, yeah, they're up to speed with how he wants to play and the detail that goes with it. So, it's been a really good few weeks. Yeah, looking forward to getting home now. The food's becoming a bit monotonous, but it's been good. It's been a good experience. Always the way, isn't it? Now, obviously, because you've got you on, normally we'd have your biggest fan in Stevie, who's on this show. I'm honestly, if somebody said to me who coined the phrase LP2, I would say it was him and or his daughter. But by some weird twist of fate, he's away in Cyprus. So I've got my colleague Ash, who's got a couple of questions for you, pal. Okay, no worries.
Liam, obviously it's a massive honour coming up this coming Saturday for yourself, for your game, testimonial game. 435 games for yourself. We've all seen the photo of yourself and your dad at Cardiff. Did you ever... There we are. Look at that. Did you ever think, as a boyhood Wednesday, you'd get to 535 games? And counting. Sorry, and counting. No, I think... Yeah, I think 400. Yeah, so at that moment, obviously not. No, just a young boy, kind of in the academy, managed to get tickets, and what a day it obviously turned out to be. But no, at that point, never did I think I'd make that kind of where I am now type thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, like you say, adding to that total. But I'm looking forward to the game when we get back next week. And everything that comes with that. It'll be a proud day for myself, but my family and stuff as well. So it's been quite strange actually looking back on been digging out them kind of pictures and seeing a few other bits that my mum saved over the years. So it's been crazy just looking back at all the kind of people that you kind of meet along the way and all the coaches that have helped you and reading your old academy reports, whatever it might be, and everything that's led up to this moment. So yeah, it's been quite look back at what's been, but like you say, still kind of focused on, I feel fit, healthy, and in the middle of a pre-season. So can't stop to look back too much. You know, I still want to enjoy the next few years, and yeah, have some more good memories to take with me.
Absolutely.
I've got just on that. Obviously, I'm going to ask. I'm not going to ask the obvious question because for me and a lot of Wednesdayites, the miracle of Hillsborough is one of the standout Liam Palmer moments. Is there any other standout moments that you could think of? Obviously, you've said you've gone through recalling for the brilliant YouTube thing you did with the club, with the shirts and the boots and everything. But is there another standout moment that you could say that? That was for me. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think the big moments, obviously, like I mentioned in that video, like your debut and your first goal and things. But yeah, the miracle of Hillsborough is always going to be top of the tree. Obviously, Wembley that followed as well. I know people might not look back in years to come at last season and see it as any kind of achievement. The way we started, obviously, was disappointing, but I think the way we turned around the season and the character we showed kind of doesn't get the credit it really deserves from the same group of players, barring one or two. So having been where we was to the last 6 games, it was, I think, in my book, a really big achievement. So that was nice to finish the season, scoring obviously in the last game at Sunderland, but sitting on the pitch and just looking up at the travelling support and kind of the relief that came with it was almost as big as the kind of, it's all right when you're in League One and you're winning every week, well, most weeks, you know what I mean? And that's great. But when you've had to dig really deep and it all comes to a close, and we worked really hard throughout the kind of time that Danny came in and was able to change that then forward. So aside from the obvious ones, I think last season was definitely up there. And just individual games obviously come to mind, like the Leeds one with a 6-0 and stuff at Hillsborough. At the time, that was obviously like a massive game to be involved in. So, but no, the miracle of Hillsborough is something that still not probably had the time to kind of take in really. Still get a lot of people coming over and being like, "Thank you for the best night of my life." But it's just, it's one that'll live long in the memory, which is good. I think up until that point, that's kind of something that cemented my kind of legacy at the club and that I'll be remembered for a long time to come. So I look back on that with fond memories.
Yeah, that picture of you wheeling away towards the towards the south stand, towards that corner, is going to stay. You know, that's going to get wheeled out on every video we've got going. Now, what I've done, Liam, I've created a bit of a fancy graphic. So what I wanted to do was look back. It's been 14 years this August since you made your debut, right? Against I think it was a loss as well in the League Cup against Bury, wasn't it? Right. So I've put this up here.
I think we won.
No, 1-1-0 it was.
Oh, did we win 1-0? All this homework that I've done, and I've got it wrong on the most important bit. So what I've got here, like number 1 at the time was Neo, Beautiful Monster, which which some of my team at work referred to as a school disco classic, which made me feel a million years old. Ian Holloway quit Blackpool. Bobby Zamora was called up by Fabio Capello. Stephen Gerrard said that Joe Cole is going to be better than Lionel Messi. Mario avoided eviction in Big Brother 1. Marcus Lieber passed away, the Southampton owner at the time, and petrol was £1.16.6 a litre. Now, when I put that together, I felt a million years old. Like, do you feel the same looking back at some of those things? Like, do you look back and go, God, that seems so long ago, or does it seem like last week?
It does seem long ago, yeah. I'm a big Neo fan, so yeah, I can remember that time through listening to that kind of music. But no, obviously a lot of things have obviously changed. I think one thing that hasn't is the kind of me being at this club in my life. Obviously that's been the centre of a lot of things that's going off around the world and things that have happened, and that's always been a constant in my life at Sheffield Wednesday. So I find it myself, or count myself lucky in that sense, that I've been able to have strong family ties off the pitch. My family's grown up. I've obviously gone from a young boy to having a 10-year-old now myself, which it's
10. You're young as 10, Christ.
Yeah, my eldest 10. Yeah, so he turned 10 last week. So, yeah, obviously things do change quite a lot. But yeah, like I say, I've been thankful to wear this badge on my chest for all that time, and it's something that yeah, I do count myself really lucky to be able to do it for that amount of time.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned earlier on that you had some people that stood out from when you were at the academy. Is there anybody that stood out as a mentor from your like early days? Is there anybody that you look at and go, that geezer made my career?
Yeah, I think I'd go along with quite a few of the coaches. You always remember the ones that have a big impression on you, and I always find the ones that kind of allow you to express yourself as a player. I think towards the latter stage of the academy, I'd say Sean McCauley, who was the academy manager at the time, his methods were, probably won't get away with a lot of it now, to be honest. It was very, I used to call it character building.
Character building.
Yeah. So it's one of them. If you can't handle, obviously, him being quite forceful, vocal about you after a game or pointing the finger, then how can you handle 25,000 at Hillsborough? Do you know what I mean? So I think in that sense it was the right kind of way to go about it, but probably a bit too much for some lads that couldn't quite take it for what it was. But no, he was the one that, I think he got the job before Christmas when Brian Laws got sacked. I trained with the first team a few times, but then that Christmas period, he said, "Oh, you were the first team. Just follow their schedule." So that was my real kind of injection into the first team, really. And then Alan Irvine came in shortly after and kept me with the first team. So yeah, I owe a lot to Sean. He was the one that got me to play for Scotland under 19s as well initially. He's out in America now. I'm still in contact with him every now and again. There's been a few times that he's, watched the situation. He keeps trying to get me over there. He's been at Portland Timbers, and he's been at Minnesota. He's just gone to Indy 11 now, I think he's at. So, no, he was a really
that's where James O'Connor and JJ both went, isn't it? To Indiana.
I think so, yeah. So he's out there managing them now. I think they're looking to get into the MLS. I think the second division now over there, but. No, I think probably without realising what a big influence he did have kind of behind the scenes, probably in pushing me and me as a player, but probably to the first team staff and things at the time. I do owe him a lot, and he's done a nice piece with one of the journalists for the programme, for the Testimonial. So I've had a read through that, and he said some really nice things. So I'm looking forward to obviously that getting printed and having them kind of things as a keepsake. And it's nice to just hear, obviously for him, that a player that he's had a big involvement with has gone on to do good things in the game, and likewise as a coach, it's nice to hear that a coach that's had you for so long saying nice things as well. So yeah, I'm thankful for Sean for everything that he did at the time during the academy days, really.
Yeah. You mentioned the program there, so obviously your testimonial is coming up. Have you got any surprises? Is there plans? Anything that's obviously that you want incorporated into it? Yeah, we understand it, and I'm sure Danny's saying it is last preseason game. We're going all out. It's thing, but there is that Liam Palmer's day. Is there any things you've got planned that's going to happen round the game?
Yeah, so it took a lot of obviously organising, a lot more than what I kind of expected in the beginning. To be honest, you need a committee and certain people that
you do
pulling the strings.
Yeah, so, I was part of that. So
I was just going to say I'm really thankful for them to pulling it together. To be honest, because obviously been asking a lot of questions around dates and kind of when we're going to announce it, and obviously after the promotion season, in my head that was the ideal time to. Get Hillsborough full and everybody come back with a real kind of enthusiasm to come and watch the team. And obviously then Darren Moore left, and then Cisco came, and everything was kind of up in the air in terms of where we're going pre-season. So that kind of got parked. Like you say, it was COVID times before that, so we couldn't do it on the 10th year. So here we are, 14 years down the line. Obviously, I spoke to Danny, and to be honest, kind of left it in the way of, did I want to have bring all the old faces back and that kind of thing? But when I actually weighed up all the options and people I've spoke to before that's kind of done that, it was harder than meets the eye. I think a lot of players, for example, Prutz, Clinton, that are doing well in the media, they've all got commitments. Everyone that's still playing, like Mark Beavers and Richard O'Donnell, or it's everyone busy. Do you know what I mean, with their own life? So, and they'll probably pull at me after 10 minutes anyway. Some of them. So we decided to go down the like I say, last pre-season friendly game. The manager wanted it to be competitive, and so did I. Really, I didn't want it to have the kind of retirement feel and to it. So in terms of surprises, we've had a few like warm-up tops done that'll get worn by the players, and they've all got the players on that I've played with during my time at Sheffield Wednesday. That'll be a nice keepsake. We've made them available to buy, and all the money's going to go to charity on that. So that'll be nice. Other than that, unless the club's got something up the sleeve, it's very much business time. Like you say, last real test before the Plymouth game. Hopefully, I can get a start in my testimonial. That'd be good. Probably drag me off after 2 minutes for a round of applause. But
who was it? John Terry. John Terry came off on the 26. So can you have minute 89 or something? Just for Saturday, so you get dragged off the 89. That'd be good.
I know it will. I think it would be. It'd be good to walk out. I've done it before with the kids, but to walk out, to a bit of a guard of honour rather than the lineup would be nice. You know what I mean? If you could sort that and just come out and it's nice.
Let me just note that one down.
It's all going in the committee, LP. It's all going in the committee.
I know, but no, I think it's testament to those in the committee, media team, obviously manager, and the chairman for kind of affording me one really. So I'm thankful to him and everybody that's worked quite a lot really behind the scenes to get the game organised, and of course the opponents Leganes. It'll be a good test. Just been promoted to La Liga and stuff, so I'm really looking forward to it.
No messing about this pre-season with these games, is there really? If you look at the standard of teams you play that Danny has picked, it's pretty hard going. It's not an easy pre-season for you.
It is. I know. I think normally in testimonials you go down in the box a bit easier. They give you a penalty and the keeper lets it in, but I don't think that'll be happening anyway. I've not got a great track record on penalties, so I'll stay away from them.
Getting none of that. Now let's go back in time a bit, Liam. Let's go back in time because at the early start of your career, you mentioned the crowd earlier on about character building and stuff like that, and there's been times where with most players we've ended up getting on your back and stuff like that, and it must take a hell of a mental deep dig to get back out of it and come out the other side. I mean, has there ever been times where we've given you a load of grief from the stands and you've thought, sod this, I'm going to go and wreck America, I'm going to go and find Luke Bowden, me and him are going to take over the world, that's what we're going to do? Have you ever considered that, or have you thought, no, sod you, I'm working at it, I'm coming back, which is essentially what you've done. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it was clearly the right choice, but that must be a hell of a deep dig for you, right?
Yeah, I think the latter's probably the attitude I've had for most part. Of course, you have times where it is tough, and I've found it tough. Obviously, when you come through the academy, you do get a bit more leeway with the fans in the beginning, but then as the years go by and more players come and go, it's kind of at the start of most seasons, really. Everything's, shiny and new players are coming, and of course the fans want to see them, and they kind of want them to kind of obviously be better than what's previously there, which I've always maintained that you want competition for places. It's something that most managers will stress. They want 2 in each position, but that just makes players that are already here, most players will tell you the same, everybody wants to play, so it's about waiting your time sometimes and being patient. Sometimes it might be knocking on the manager's door, which, to be honest, I've found doesn't really have too much bearing. Really, the harsh truth of it is they just think that player's a better fit for that game, and that's something that you have to kind of accept as a player, which a lot of players don't really. They want a surefire, why is he better than me? But I've never really been one to ask too many questions, and I'll be the first to admit or know when I've had a bad game or not been performed as well as I would have wanted. Obviously, nobody intends to make mistakes, and it's something that we are just human beings at the end of the day. Nobody wants to give the ball away or not be not be seen to be playing as well. But I think as long as you work hard and you kind of every day really just letting that compound throughout the season, that's the best way to go about it. I've seen players that have spat the dummies out and things, and it's never helpful for the player really. It's never helpful for the club, for the manager, and ultimately that's what's needed. Everybody pulling in the right direction. It happened obviously when Danny first came in, and I had my operation last summer. It's polar opposite this year. We flew into Munich last year for my double hernia operation, which I don't know if obviously many people knew that I come to Germany, but then we've flown in again this year and I'm fully fit and ready to go. So already in my mind, I'm a lot further along the line than I was. Obviously when Cisco came in, I'd not had a pre-season. So it was difficult to build that kind of rapport, and obviously the team wasn't doing well, so it was difficult to make an impression in the early part of last season. But I think as Danny came in, I was training well, I was back fit, but because I'd not played probably the 10 games before he came in, probably didn't know who I was, to be honest, and like a lot of the players didn't really know what my position was. Obviously I've played in a lot of positions, even going back to when Darren Moore was in charge, I was in midfield, I was right centre back in a 2, right back, right wing back. So as a manager coming in, there's a lot to unpick really in the squad, and he needs immediate results. So I never kind of held that against him. I had a few honest conversations, having obviously got the player of the season that year. It was strange to me that I was being left out of squads and things. But I just waited my time. I got in the gym, I worked hard, I trained well, and I think he could see the value in how well I could, I was liked within the dressing room and what an influence I had within the kind of helping the younger players and the role that I'd adopted that changed over time in terms of in and around the place and things, which he spoke to me about since, and he really values that strong core of players that have been at the club a while. So when I got my chance, results started to pick up, and the second half of the season was obviously a lot more successful, and I think I only missed 1 or 2 games. I think that's the best way to be really as a player, and not get too high with the highs and not get too low with the lows. Try and just maintain that middle ground. And touching on social media and things, it's like I said before, I know what's going to be kind of said and things after a game, because when you've done well, and it's great to read all the plaudits and obviously have a look on when you've done well, but the other side of the coin is not as nice. So you can't let that define you either. It's quite fickle. You are quite accessible in terms of social media, which has got better over time. I think coming into the kind of football world, and Twitter just starting to kick off, and I've been mentioned after a game. You've done a nice pass, or you've done something. You want to see the comments, but you quickly realise that it doesn't really stand for much. Obviously, I've had 12 permanent managers and 15 including interim, and they've all,
good Lord,
come back to play me. So I must be doing something right. So I don't tend to kind of worry about what 1 or 2 or what the minority is saying.
Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Liam. If obviously you mentioned you're in and out of the team and things, as being a Wednesday eye, do you treat that a little bit different? Because obviously it's your club. You want that club to get better, win the games as a fan, also as a player. So do you have a different mindset to probably other players that you said some people go knocking on the door and I want to play and all that? Do you have a bit of a mindset, actually, I want the best for Sheffield Wednesday as well as myself as a player? Is that a different mindset, do you reckon?
Of course I want to play, but one thing that I always have maintained and said to some of the other boys is, somebody comes in and in my position and is playing really well and the team's doing well, I've not got a problem with it. I think that's something that, like I say, like you just touched on, Ash, there, that means the club's doing well, everybody's in a better space, the club's moving in, you know what I mean? So it is a bit of a double-edged sword, but I think that's always something that if I'm not playing and I feel like, well, that we're not having a great time of it, or that player's not doing anything that I can't, or I'm not, not playing as well, then obviously the player within me wants to. Obviously, I want to play. You want to play every game, don't you? So, yeah, that's the kind of mindset I've got. If they brought Trent in tomorrow and he's playing every week and he's playing unbelievable, I'm not going to have anything to say about that. But
we would.
He's not one of our own.
Yeah,
I'm not one for moaning too much in terms of with other players or with the manager. Like I say, I just kind of tend to look at the bigger picture, and I understand, obviously, with age as well, which probably not been the case for me up to yet, but I've played on average 41 games over the last 6 seasons, so the output's been quite high. I still feel as fit as ever, really. So I want to keep playing as many as I can. Obviously, as a professional, that's what you want to do. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it came to season prep, like you said, when Chisco was brought in, you were coming in on an operation. The season before, in our promotion season, in our unbeaten run, all the rest of it, you were doing all these marathons and you were running loads and stuff like that. Did you feel like that put you in a great space for that season? Did you feel physically fitter and you were ready to take on the world and all the rest of it? Like it's night and day, isn't it? The correlation between the two pre-seasons, but that one specifically, you were a man possessed for that season. Oh, then just as I've asked that, I've lost him. Sorry, did you get all that, Liam?
I'm back, mate. The last thing I heard was Cisco, so you have to repeat it. I'm sorry.
It could have gone anywhere, that couldn't it?
It was going everywhere. But I was just saying the pre-seasons that you've had, the one before Chisco and the one before the promotion season, you were doing a lot of running. You were doing marathons. You were doing long distance running. I mean, you were absolutely a man possessed that season. Like, did you feel that changed how you played, and you had a lot more energy to burn, or did you feel your body was going, Liam, man, we're in his 30s now, come on, bro?
Yeah, do you know what it was? I think I kind of underestimated the 10K day run in that season before we got promoted. I didn't really do it to kind of, obviously I didn't have an amazing season or anything like that. It was more just for the kind of charity aspect and to try and help, obviously, Aaron and Lucy and Jude raise as much awareness as possible. And then kind of I went on holiday to Dubai halfway through June, and I thought, right, I've got to run 10K every day for the next 2 weeks, and it's nearly 40 degrees. So, no, I think obviously people will pinpoint that and say it's because you've done all this running. I think that was because it was well documented, and I was quite active on social media with that. More so for the charity aspect, but the years before gone by, I've always done probably not so much running, but I've always done a lot of individual stuff over the summer. And something as I've got older that I think I've tried to do it where you have 2 weeks doing nothing, but I find it, for me personally, a lot harder to then build back up. And it's more of a shock to the body. So like now, I tend to just keep going steadily and kind of build that progression. But yeah, I did Edinburgh Marathon just after the season finished, 3 weeks after. It's something that I've always wanted to do, a marathon, so that fell nicely in between the end of the season and then the start of this pre-season. So yeah, I did that, and then I had a week or so off, but then I carried on, all the way through. So it's something that I just enjoy doing. So it gives me an excuse to keep fit, and it gives me kind of an hour or two away, a break from the kids sometimes to get the head right. So it's a bit of both, really. I think, the fitness element, but also just enjoyment, really.
Yeah, you've obviously had 1 or 2 pre-seasons before. We've said like 14 years and things. How does this pre-season differ under Danny? So you've mentioned you've had quite a few managers. You've worked under a few managers. Us as fans, we're seeing a massive difference in the, obviously, social media output from the club. We get a lot more access through the videos and the little video pictures and things the club putting out. But for a player, obviously, how's it going under Danny? Is it? We've heard it's a lot more tactical, not as much running, but
yeah. So it's his first pre-season, so obviously he's trying to emulate probably what he's seen done at the clubs he's worked at, which has obviously been a real high level. So the real overview of it for us players is kind of, and speaking to the coaches, Tomo and Paolo, it's very organised in terms of topics and day-to-day sessions have already done before we've even come back, so they kind of know what builds into each bit, which is something very different to what we've been used to, but also that a lot of managers don't really tell you kind of what's coming type thing. You'll just have to get on the pitch and you're like, right, you've got this today. But we do a lot of, like I say, detailed work in terms of the classroom stuff and watching things back within it, which I think's been really good, like I said, for the new players. But yeah, it's been detailed in terms of tactical stuff, which obviously Danny's big on. But there has been, enough running within it. It's not like we've not ran at all. It's just been different ways and a bit of disguise running within sessions, and it's been done quite cleverly. But now we're all kind of, I would say the level's gone up, and that's probably due to the kind of influx of new players we've had, and for them as well, coming into a new club, they're obviously keen to impress, and the ones that are obviously here, which we didn't really have last pre-season, we're obviously trying to push as well to stake our game to play. So it's been a real positive on that front. I think the standard's definitely gone up.
Is there anybody stands out to you, Liam? Is there anybody? I mean, come on, you can tell us. Is there anybody that you're looking at and these new lads going? I tell you what, this kid's got it.
Yeah, I've been impressed with all the new players, if I'm honest. Svanti's looked really good in midfield. A few's come in a bit later, but I think, Jamal's looked really good. Looked sharp from the day he came in. Olaf as well showed some really good feet and good bits, and they all look really ready to go. So you can tell that they've kind of stayed fit during the off-season as well. Nobody's come in and been like a million miles off it in terms of fitness or...
Have you seen that? Have you if you look back at the years and you see somebody report back after the close season, and look at Forestieri coming in, is carrying an extra stone or something like that. I mean, you must have seen some of these. I mean, you were there when Alban Abdi were there. What happened here? You know what I mean? Like, what?
Yeah.
You must have seen a few of them.
I've seen probably in the first 4 or 5 years. Definitely, it wasn't so much of a thing really to go away during the off season and train. Whereas now you feel like you're getting left behind. You look at all these videos on social media, and a lot of it is smoke and mirrors with most people, if I'm being honest.
By the way, Liam, this is Stevie. This is the king of the Liam Palmer fan club.
Number one.
Him and his daughter. So you've got some questions there. Have you got any, Stevie?
I'll just jump in as and when I get the flow of the conversation, so I'm a little bit late to the party. All right.
Appreciate it. All right.
So, some of us have took a holiday.
I'm going to sit here and try my hardest not to fanboy and pretend I'm like a 3-year-old schoolgirl as well.
Do that.
That is recorded, and that will go out on Twitter. There we are.
Yeah, we've got that.
We're going to break the internet.
No, what I was going to ask Liam is obviously Callum Patterson did a little behind the scenes training walk to work video yesterday. It was released. He threw you under the bus a little bit, mate. So I'm going to give you the right to reply. And obviously, what's Callum Patterson like as a roommate?
So he mentioned that I'm messy and he picks my clothes up all the time. That's total opposite. So I don't know why he's saying that. Just farts all the time. Probably too much monster. But no, he's. I like rooming with him. He's especially on trips like this. He's someone that I get along with really well. So I can't say too much bad stuff about him, to be honest.
Can you do us a favour, Liam? Can you? I mean, because you're abroad, obviously, he'll have his passport with him. Can you get in there and double check how old he is? Because the game's and I'm not having it. He's still in his 20s. I mean, bloody hell, like, you know what I mean? Can you just double check that for me and then put that out on the socials somewhere?
I'm always ribbing him about his hair. Definitely, I think. He must have been grey since about 12 years old, but he's thinking about embracing it and turning it into a silver fox and actually dyeing it silver. So
go for it.
I keep trying to convince him to do it. He's always have it. He wants to shave it off 1 minute, then he wants to grow a Mohican the next. So I don't know what his plans are, but
well, he's married now, so his fun haircut days are over, I'm afraid. You know what I mean? That's him. That's him done. Now, if you've just joined us or just come in, you've noticed that we've got King of the Liam Palmer fan club. Stevie has joined us all the way from Cyprus. Stevie, now the timing of managing to get Liam on this show while you're abroad is the irony isn't wasted on, because when I say to you, Liam, that he has banged your drum for the 4 years he's been doing this show and a long time prior. You know what I mean? You're going to watch a grown-ass man, fangirl quite a significant amount. Yeah. Now, Stevie, have you got any questions you want to ask?
Forgive me if it's already been covered. It's just like, obviously, we're all massive fans of the club, and for you to be able to pull that shirt on and step out and play for Wednesday, having been that boy that was at Cardiff, and being the person that's grown up as a fan and getting through that, it's absolute.
This one.
That's the one. Yeah. To look at that fresh-faced boy, to for where you were in 2005 to get to where you are now. What's that journey been like, and how's it felt to be, top 5? I think it is now. You're getting that way in terms of appearance. It must be a real honour.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but not so much the feeling of it. I think something that I probably won't appreciate until I finish playing, because there's so many, football's such a fast-moving. There's always something else, another game, another session. You're always trying to get better and better. It is hard to look back and reflect so much from 2005, and obviously, what's that now? It's nearly 20 years. So it's like so much has happened. So much has happened. It's just something that I'm so proud of, kind of, so much myself really, but like making my family proud, because that's all I ever wanted to do as a boy. At that point, I think I was midway through my academy journey, but the amount my parents had to sacrifice in terms of, getting me there after my dad's been working 9 while 5 and training starts at 5:30. I don't know how I manage that most days, but sneaking off from work and, making sure I had all the kit and everything, and never wanted for anything in terms of like when the new boots come out. Obviously, I'm a dad myself now, so I know what that's like, always badgering you for new boots or new kits or V-Bucks, whatever it is. But yeah, so I always that was my motivation alongside the enjoyment aspect of it, but just making my parents and my family proud. And as I've kind of grown as a man, as a player, I take a lot of pride in when my family's there at the games. My kids are in the stands and things, and they're old enough now to kind of know what daddy does as a job, and they still don't want me to drop them off at school, still ruin the street cred, but can't walk them to the door or give them a hug anymore. But just knowing that I can make them proud as well, and they actually feel it as well, that's a massive thing for me, and something I'm grateful for.
We talked about the.
Oh, sorry, Steve.
I was going to say, we talked about the knee slide of the young one.
That's what I was just about to say. The in front of the South Stand at the end of the season. It was
3 out of 10 needs work.
Yeah, that's my eldest Aubrey. He wants to be a ball boy next year. I said it gets freezing in winter. He's like, I want to do it, but no, he's mad into football. I don't know where he gets that from, but no, they love the end of season lap of honour. He's obviously done it 10 times now. It's probably a record. He's got his own record. He's doing his own record. Well. So he don't want to walk around with me anymore. He just went, Daddy, can I go and do some knee slides? I was like, hold off a minute. And as we got round, there were a few West Brom fans still in there. He's like, can I do it in front of them? And I was like, probably best not to do it in front of the opposition fans. But no, he got a few in. I think my wife filmed it. So no, they're just great little moments for the kids. And, even they sacrifice a lot in terms of, it's his birthday when we've been away and stuff recently, so something he's come used to that I'm not there. You were born when pre-season's on, so I'm always away. So yeah, we have to sacrifice a lot, but it's them moments that make it special for them as well.
I tell you what, he's now got a load of Sheffield. Go on, I'm just saying he's got a load of Sheffield Wednesday fans trying to Google when 9 months prior, 10 years ago, what the result was that weekend. You know what I mean? Like, if you work it out, lads, send us an email at twpodcast@gmail.com. Go on.
Well, I was just going to touch on your lad wanted to slide, or the Miracle of Hillsborough. My lad, he was 14 at the time, and he did the same. He says, Dad, watch this. I'm going to knee slide on Hillsborough. And he's got jeans on, a shirt, and I didn't see him. We were in the cop. I didn't see him. All I heard from him was like, I saw Steve here. I got hold of Steve here. And that was it. But he's knee sliding. I've got videos. So yeah. For the young ones doing that sort of thing must be fantastic.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think by the time I got back in the dressing room after that, they're already 2 or 3 beers deep. Some of the boys, I missed our celebrations. I couldn't get off the pitch, but it's great memories, definitely.
Now, let's talk about international career. So you've spoken quite fondly about Sheffield Wednesday and stuff like that, and representing Scotland as well, and getting in there. And there's a certain amount that there's like a bittersweet with it. Like, you know, it's always a proud moment to represent any country, right? And then to be part of the build-up before the Euros, and was it with the Euros or the World Cup, where you were in the build-up and then didn't make it into the final squad for the first time that Scotland qualified in, what was it, 23 years or something like that. That must have been difficult, right? Did Steve ring you up? Did you have a frank chat?
Yeah, it was one of the most difficult moments probably in my career, to be honest. I'd made the squad for every squad for the 2 years previous. Not always starting, obviously, but you know, play one of the 3 games when we're away, whatever it might be. Yeah, he rang me up. I was in Meadowhall car park doing a bit of shopping, and his name come up in the car. And my wife was like, "Oh, he's ringing you to tell you in." I said, "They don't ring you to tell you you're in, Beth." So I kind of knew when his name popped up. Turns out I was the only one that he did call, which, you know, I took kind of well that he took the time to explain his decision, which was even more difficult, I think, at the time. It'd gone from 23 to 26 man squad, so I thought, I've convinced myself I'd kind of be in it, and he ended up taking 3 left backs. So that wasn't great. But no, he just said, he was just honest, and I've got a lot of respect for Steve and what he's done, obviously, in the game. With Scotland since, I've always maintained a relationship with him. After that, I've texted him when they then qualified again the time after and before the Euros just started a few months ago. So no, he just said, the performances have not been what we kind of hoped for. It was in the COVID season, the points deduction season. It was a real bad season for the club, and the team wasn't doing great. I wasn't even playing right back at the time. I was playing right centre back in a 3, which obviously to help the club or wherever the manager wanted me to play. I was never going to say to the manager, look, you need to play me right back or it's going to hinder my chance of going with Scotland. So yeah, like everything, like we touched on before, I just used it as a motivation to kind of, be better and keep going. But then I ended up going to 2 out of the 3 games in the group stages. So I went to up to Scotland to watch them against Czech Republic, and then I went also to Wembley to the game against England. So yeah, supported the boys and thought that was the right thing to do at the time. And then the camp, Gaffer's just walking past. The camp, get him on. He's got his laptop in his hand, mate.
Oh, his work never stops working.
Never stops. But no, and then it's quite funny that obviously we went down that season. So the kind of international break after that was we'd gone to League One, and the team got announced, and I wasn't in it, but I was on the reserve list because they contact the club and say how is he medically and whatever. Then I got a call from Steve, so I thought, right, what's happening here? And he just said, look, 2 of the boys have got COVID issues, and when you had to have that fit to fly, whatever that was back in the day. And they wasn't fit to fly to the game and stuff, so they wanted me to go up and train. So this was on the Sunday when the squad had already kind of met up, and I just felt a little bit, wasn't really what I wanted to do, if I was honest with myself. I said to Steve, look, I will come up, and then when he put the phone down, I rang Darren Moore straight away, and I just explained how I was feeling, and I explained, if as much as he couldn't guarantee that I was going to play, he just said kind of come up and do what you've always done type thing, which with no guarantee that I'd play. I just said to Darren, I said, we're going to have a season where the international breaks are going to be kind of when we've got games and things, so I don't want to kind of be going away, not playing for Scotland, coming back, not having trained with the squad, miss probably 2 games that week, and if that carries on, before I know it, I could end up missing 6, 7, 8 games through being called up internationally. So it didn't really have any benefit at that point. I wanted to stay and obviously be present for the season at Sheffield Wednesday, which turned out in hindsight to be the right decision. Darren, obviously, having worked with Steve at West Brom, they had a really good relationship, and they spoke, and Steve kind of rang me back and said, look, I respect your honesty and things, and the door's not closed. Thank you for saying what you thought and not just coming up and kind of
phoning it in.
Yeah, so not just saying I was injured or anything like that. So, yeah, real honest chat, and yeah, like I say, maintain that relationship and things. So, yeah, with the right back kind of situation recently, I thought it might be a long shot. I've seen a few bits in the press, but comparing my stats and how I was playing to other people, but yeah, I think they've got some really good players in that position. Obviously, it was unfortunate they was injured for that tournament, but. No, I've always wished them well. I've still got a lot of friends within the camp that I've played with from 19s, 21s, and obviously in the first team. And I'm thankful for that journey and kind of playing alongside and training alongside, Premier League players and players that are at big clubs, and just to see how they kind of conduct themselves in training and around that environment. Something that I value quite a lot, and something that, again, was able to make my family proud. And obviously my nan's not with us anymore, but it was good to do it in her honour and things, and something that I'm really happy with. Like you say, making 8 appearances for Scotland is something to be really proud of.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Go on, Steve.
I've always argued that that experience of playing with those players has made you a better player over time, and I just that sort of immersion into playing international football has helped you become a better player of Sheffield Wednesday. I'm sure you probably agree with that. Did you feel the difference as you sort of got that first camp going into camp after camp after camp, and then coming back to Sheffield? Do you feel it made you a better player when you were going up against players on a Saturday afternoon?
1,000,000%. I think just pitting yourself against them in training, even if you're not in the starting team, and obviously you're trying to push as much as you can, and you want to be as close to that level as possible. You look at Andy Robertson, Champions League winner, won the Premier League. Scott McTominay, who's probably one of my closer friends. We travel from obviously England up to the camps and that, and what he's doing at Man United, and what kind of big player he's become at Scotland, and how they handle themselves within the kind of public eye and within the press, all the things that come with it. So got so much admiration for them as people, really, and getting to know them really as fellow teammates and friends, like John McGinn as well, and players like that. So
does John McGinn get a lot of grief from the other lads for having a large backside? Does anybody do they all say, John, you've got a massive ass? Did they say that?
Yeah, he uses it well, though, to be fair.
He does, doesn't he?
That little spin and things, so he uses it to his advantage, so you can't grumble at that. If you wrap the ball into him, he's going to keep hold of it and get his arse in, definitely. So he'll be the first one to admit that. But what a kind of last few years he's had, especially with Scotland, but captain of Aston Villa, and the kind of how well they've done as well. So I'm really pleased for him and Scotland as a whole, really, and becoming a nation now that's kind of almost expected to qualify from when I first went and we lost 3-0 in Kazakhstan to the kind of turnaround that Steve's done with the team. It's been amazing, and it's been great for the nation.
It really has. Now, just before we wrap this up, I've got some quick fire questions for you, LP2. They're going to be quick fire. I just want names. I'm just going to take some names. So we probably all know the answer to this one, but who's the angriest player you've played with?
Well, probably Baz. Yeah,
it's got to be right. You know what I mean? It's got to be. Who's the funniest?
Funniest player ever played with? Ross Wallace.
Ross Wallace. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Who's got now? We've had Frankie Simek pop up for this one a couple of times because he seems to pop up a lot. But who's got the worst dress sense?
Let's have a think. I'd probably go with Miguel Liera.
All right. I'll make a note of that. Who's got the worst car?
Worst car?
Ooh.
You won't mind me saying this, but Kieran Lee kept the same car the whole time from when he was a scholar at Man United. It was a nice enough car, but just an old Audi A3, which I think he did get rid of it. No, he didn't sell it. He got a new one, but he's kept it. So he's probably still driving around Oldham.
Functional, dependable. Probably Kieran Lee all over. Yeah, that's what I was just
All right, two more left. Who's got the worst banter?
Worst banter. Worst banter. Trying to think of someone recent, but I have a quick think on that one. Worst banter. I'm gonna go Giles Coke on that one.
Yeah, that sounds right. And I don't know if you know, but there's two big main Sheffield Wednesday podcasts, and Giles Coke was one of the hosts on that for a couple of seasons. So check for the Wednesday week. That's a good answer, that one, LP. And the last one, mate. Who's not the sharpest knife in the drawer? Who's not the fizziest drink in the fridge? Who's dense as a wet mattress?
We've had a few of them. Just trying to pick one. You know what? They say quick fire, but there's so many. I'm like got a little filing cabinet in my head.
I was going to say, trying to remember things autobiographically. Now we've had Stockers on the show. You know what I mean? He's got a couple of screws loose, but he's thick in a different way. He's got kicked in. Yeah, he is. He's got kicked in the head a lot. But
he's more switched on than you think. We'll go Mark Beavers purely because he's from Barnsley. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That is.
All right, so go on, Ash.
I've just got one last thing. Can I trouble you, Liam? Just obviously Saturday coming up again, Testimonial. Is there anything you just want to put out to the fans that are coming? Just speak to the camera, to the fans, and just say whatever you like. Because I know they're really looking forward to it, and so am I. We all are. So just anything you'd like to say?
Great. No, I'd just like to say thank you, a massive thank you, really, from everyone that's obviously took time to buy tickets or, come and support me, but also, the team this season. I think over the years, the support's something that's drove the team on, especially in recent seasons. And, we want it to be the same this season. So I think all the players share that sentiment. I think when we had Al's in the park, just gone there, some of the new players were like, a little bit took back, like what's this all about? So it doesn't take me or Baz or players that have been here a long time to kind of give them a sense of how big the club is. We never kind of take for granted the support, none more so than me being a fan myself. Looking forward to obviously the game, but obviously trying to meet as many people as I can after. I'll definitely be sticking around and. I've had a lot of nice messages. A lot of people wanting program signing and stuff. So I'll try and do my best on that. I'm just looking forward to a really nice day. Hopefully we get a nice result to go with it, and the sun's shining. It would have been nice to get a full stand, but I think these pre-season games, a lot of people wait for the start of the season. So to see the South stand, full will be great, and I'm just looking forward to it now.
Exactly that. It's on August the 3rd. Tickets £15. If you look on our socials or if you go to the club website, they're available there. Don't forget, it's 1:30 kickoff. It's an earlier kickoff as well.
1 o'clock kickoff. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to be late. So there you are. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. And that probably gives Liam a couple of times to make sure he has a good drink and get to bed at an early time because the season starts the week after. Listen, Liam, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I wish you all the best for next week's game, and I wish you all the best. Because normally testimonials are normally around retirement. So if you're planning on putting your feet up, let us know. We'll get you on again. But that's just pure speculation for me. Don't take my word. Imagine that. It's not being the start tomorrow. Joe, Alex, honest, it's just a joke. Just a joke. Listen, stay on the line.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, cheers.
My absolute pleasure. See you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week. Bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live.
I normally just turn up and phone it in.
I'm a little bit older than you.
Like
That zero's gone, that goose egg's gone.
also featuring player interviews.
It's Mr. Lee Bunnan, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. John Harps, ladies and gentlemen. It's Captain Fantastic once again. It's Mr. Glenn Lubens.
Oh, it's Mr. David Stockdale joining us this evening.
It's Mr. Lloyd Owusu, ladies and gentlemen, who's joining us live on the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Carlton Palmer. How's it going, CP? You all right?
Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there, podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday Week 24-25 season. Join us next season.
Put on your podcast.